Let's see if this goes. Let's go to the map. Wait a few seconds. Come back here. We have the map. All right. So for this mission tonight that I did with my wingman, we were based at Kittilä, which is actually in Finland. And what I did to make the mission interesting is that I created like a small country in blue and an even smaller country in red here. The red side have the Ivalo Air Base. We have the Kittilä Air Base and a few others here. And we have some tankers. We have an AWACS. They had their airfield with an SA-11 defending it. They have an early warning site here. The SA-6 that's here and the Roland SAMs that were protecting the road there have been destroyed. There was also a AAA and Manpad's position here, which basically got destroyed. And so we did seed first with those. And then there, with the second flight, we did some close air support where there were vehicles going down that road towards where the friendly positions are here. And we managed to get most of them, but I think like near the end of the mission I was running low on fuel, so I headed for my tanker over here. And my wingman, I guess, got jumped by one of the enemy fighters. And so I think I'm the one who got that Mirage that had shot him down. So he took off, he took another plane and came back to finish off his target. But the MiG-21 that we see here actually shot him down over that lake there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take another plane and I'm going to try to go and get the two vehicles remaining in the column here that he couldn't get. So it's just an MTLB, it's an APC that if I look at it like this, if I zoom, you can see that it's just a little APC vehicle, and then there's a truck accompanying it with ammunition. This column had some ZSU-23s, it had some T-72 tanks, but we've taken care of those. I think just here on the road I might be able to spot nearby where it is. I think it's here that he got his ZSU-23 there. There we go, it's destroyed. So we took care of a lot of the targets, but there are still those who are coming towards the friendly positions. And so what I'll do is I'll try to arm an F-16 with 2 laser guided bombs so that I can take those out because they're moving. And then I'll try to move to these ammunitions depots to drop some JDAMs on them, the penetrator JDAMs, so that we can destroy them. So we'll see how that goes. That's the plan. I've already put in, like with the waypoint tool here, I've put in a waypoint here and another one there so that I know that probably the vehicles will be somewhere in between. I'll be able to spot them on the GMT radar with the F-16. And then I've put the waypoints for those 2 targets, and then I can come back. And there are still targets available like the SA-6. I think there's a launcher left. On the EWR site there are still like a lot of vehicles and the EWR radar that we could decide to go hit later. And if we feel brave, we could go attack the enemy base. So there's lots left. We can see that we managed to shoot down a few enemy pilots. I don't know if they're going to send more at us, but that's the setup that I have here. So I could show you, like, this is my plane that I just came back with. It's got the skin for my squad. And so I managed to make it back to base with not that many bombs left, and my AMRAAMs are gone because I took out 2 enemies with those. But even running low on fuel, I was able to refuel. I think I left the door open there, and I made it back to base, so that's always nice. And this is the little setup I've made at Kittilä. You can see that I've put like a few extra buildings here with some HESCO walls there, and then I put a few revetments so that it looks a little bit more military. I've got some Hercules there that I left at the far end of the base. And I think I put like a warehouse here with some trucks. So it makes it look like it's more military a little bit. Still, the airfield looks nice already with all these buildings and the tower and all, but wanted to make it my own. So there. So I'm going to unpause the simulation because I had left it on pause. So there. And then what I'll do is I'll go to choose or select role. And then I'm going to go to my dynamic slots. And I have some here at Kitilla. I've also made a FARP if I want to use helicopters, but for Kitilla, I have these choices of airplanes that I can choose to do the mission. So I think I'm going to continue with the F-16. In terms of the livery, I don't know, I can take anything really. But maybe just for fun, we could go with the Thunder Squadron from Greece. I'm going to put my usual board number. I like to have AMRAAMs 9X. And here I said I'm going to carry some JDAMs, the penetrator type, so this one. We'll go with that. There we go. On the inboard pylons, I'm going to go with GBU-12s. I'll have my targeting pod, a fuel tank in the center, and that should complete it nicely. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put the code that I usually set for myself, 1681. That means that I'm going to be forced to enter my laser code once I'm in flight so that the bombs will guide properly. And so the rest here looks pretty good. So let's go with that. It should load up. Oh, I always forget the spawn hot, which is kind of good when you want to make it quick. If you don't want to have to do the whole cold start. And so with that, with the waypoints I had set earlier, I should be able to get in the cockpit and have all my flight plan loaded in the plane. So that's always nice. Let's see how it goes. We can see the MiG-21 heading back to its base. And we've spawned here. And so I'm in one of those revetments there. And you can see I'm now a Greek F-16. I just wanted to have a sort of a blue skin. So this is what it looks like. And you can see my penetrator bombs on the outside, my GBU-12s on the inside. I've got my targeting pod. So let's set up our cockpit. So let's put the power on the targeting pod. Maybe we could turn on the helmet mounted display like this. I kind of like to turn these two switches on because otherwise I sometimes forget. I'm going to put this on bypass. I like to set that to steady. And that's about what we need to do for now. Since this is one of the planes that is not pre-set up, I'm going to put on COM2 the frequency of the airfield. So it is for... Okay, I have it right there. 118950. There we go. And then for the COM1s, I'm going to put the frequency for the AWACS. So let's just call the AWACS parent menu AWACS. Let's just try that again. Bogeyed up.
Dodge 1, request bogey dope. Dodge 1, Magic 1-1, Bra 041 480 at 1,500 knots.
Okay, so he sees the MiG-21 that's at 80 miles. And let's see if I call my tower, if I have the right frequency. Kola, request taxi.
Dodge 1, request taxi to runway. Dodge 1, clear to taxi to runway 22.
That's one of the things I've noticed of this particular airfield at Kola. We have 1-6 or 3-4. Where's runway 22? So I think the active runway, as I saw the AI use it, is actually 1-6. And so that's the one we're going to use. We've got our nose wheel steering on. So I've put a little bit of life on the airbase. There's a refueling truck there. The little guy dressed in red. There's a Land Rover there with a soldier. And this is like the military side of things. It's like the reinforced HESCO walls and a few trucks and things. Might see it a bit better like that. Gotta keep this on the taxiway. And I had added that building there for supplies. So just to make it a little bit more military looking. One of the things I've noticed, the AI, what they were doing is to go to the end of the runway. They continued, but then I took measurements, and from this taxiway, when you get on the runway, if you take direction 1-6, you still have a good mile to take off, which is plenty, so that's what I'm going to do. Here in front of us, you can see I've put some trucks and boxes and soldiers, so can be a good point. Let's say if you need to come and rearm, you have this area here that you can do it from. And so now I'm just going to request takeoff.
Dodge 1, request takeoff.
You can see our AAA there. And the tower has decided to be silent, so we're just going to go for it. Don't see anyone on final or taking off, so let's go. And off we go. Nose wheel steering off. And we're airborne. Gear coming up.
Altitude. Altitude.
And we're going to turn left for our first steer point. So this is what the area around the airfield looks like. Looks pretty cool. And so as we climb, we can talk to the AWACS again.
Magic 1-1, Dodge 1, request bogey dope. Dodge 1, Magic 1-1, Queen.
we're now clean, so I'm guessing that MiG-21 must have landed at his base. Yeah, he's no longer in the air. I think that's him there. Can we see him if we look? Yeah. He's back at his base. So this is the enemy base. Didn't put too much there. There's like a few transport airplanes, helicopters. This one here. A few fuel trucks. So I'm gonna climb to about Angels 16, just below the cloud layer there that we see in front of us, and then we'll start looking at the ground moving target, the GMT radar. Here, this is my refueler with its escort. It's kind of cool that we're able to spot them there as we head towards the target. If you're curious what they look like, it's this guy with his escort right there. So this is where I refueled earlier from this plane. So there they go. So if we look at the F-10 map, they're flying around like that area here, so when you come back, if you need fuel, it's a good place to refuel. There's this other tanker, because I had some Hornets, and they need the MPRS version, so there's another tanker for them, and we have an AWACS. So we've reached 16,000 feet. This is where we want to be, so I'll set the autopilot on. And since we're already lined up, we can check our air-to-ground weapons. We're gonna turn the power for the JDAMs, because they do need a little bit of time, but I'm going to be using the GBU-12 first. And usually when I use those, of course we want to be in CCRP. That brings up our radar here. But one of the things I'm going to want to do, since I had changed the laser code, I want to change 1688 to 1681, enter. And sometimes because I'm a freak and I wonder if I'm going to enter the data wrong, I also put my laser search code as the same. That way I know I'm on the right code everywhere. And so if I switch afterwards to the targeting pod, I'll be on the right mode. Now, right now it's on GM mode, which is the ground mapping. I want it on GMT. So let's see if we spot anything. You see there's a nice little square there. I'm going to make this a little bit more visible. So since this is our soy, we're going to try to lock that target right there. And we've confirmed that we're on the GBU-12, so I can set my targeting pod here. And then we'll be able to zoom in, and probably that we'll be able to see our targets once we get close enough. We're about 18 miles. Should be able to see something. I'm gonna hover out of there. So let's see what the camera spots. Kind of hard to see in the angle, but I see the truck. And I think I see the MTLB in front. So we'll try to lock the MTLB first. There. We've got a point track. And so I'm going to bring my plane in the direction of the targets. Make sure my laser is armed, master arm. I'm gonna turn the lights off because we're in enemy territory pretty much. 11 miles. Still have a good track on the vehicle. Sometimes it loses the track. Oh, is that a civilian truck? I think it is. Yeah, sometimes it does that. It'll catch something else. So this is the guy I want right here. Good. Let's get on the bomb fall line. Get ready to drop. Pickle. Bombs away. You can see the bomb falling off. And so I'm going to confirm. You see we've lost the target again. Let's zoom out. That's our target. And I'm going to laze right away because maybe the bomb is looking for something else. We have to aim manually. We're still lasing. And kaboom. And I'm going to try to lock this guy up. There we go. And so when I turn around, I'll be able to come back for him. Autopilot off. Just going to move in an angle that's going to be a little bit better. We can see that the truck is actually smoking. Yeah, there we go. I'll give myself a little bit of distance. Now the good news is I know that I don't have to worry about the AAA or the SAMs anymore, so I can fly fairly low if I need to. But at 7 miles like this, I should be able to turn around, point my nose in the right direction, and go take out that truck. So let's see if we can zoom on him. Very good. Gonna make it nice and precise. And I'm almost at the drop point, so we're gonna get lined up properly. Pickle. And bombs away. And I'm gonna laze the target now. So our bomb should follow it all the way through. And kaboom. So there, we've completed the mission of destroying the moving targets. So that's always nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my SMS page. I'm going to switch to those. And then I'm going to go back to my nav page and we'll switch to waypoint 3, which I believe is the first of the 2 targets that we'll want to hit with our penetrator bomb. So it's not very far, it's 21 miles behind us. How are we doing on fuel? We're good with fuel. Alright, so we're heading for our waypoint. I'm going to put the autopilot on again, and then we'll switch air to ground. This time I don't want the radar, so I'll go directly to targeting pod. We are in pre-mode. The bombs are ready, so we're going to clear that. Let's see what we have. Okay, this is the target there. So I'm making my targeting pod soy. And I want to target this building right there. Trying to find a good spot that I could lock it so that the bombs will get the coordinates. I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to lock that point. And now the bomb should have that. What I'm not sure is if I'm going to need 1 or 2 bombs. So I'm going to wait till I'm in range. There we go. We are now in range. I'm gonna refine my lock to the middle there. Now I've given those coordinates. That looks good. Bombs away. I'm gonna switch to the other waypoint, which is this target. I'm gonna lock that one. Is that locked properly? There we go. I think I'm a bit close for that one, so I'm gonna have to do another pass for the other target. So I know the two targets are pretty close by, so we can see some of the targets that we had destroyed earlier, and this I think is, yeah, the one that I wanted to hit. Is it dead or not? Because if it's not, we'll just drop the other bomb on this one. Yeah, it doesn't look like it blew up. So I guess we'll go back to our previous waypoint. And we'll lock this guy again. Those big bunkers, they think they need 2 penetrators in order to blow up. So let's turn around and see what we can do. Okay, so let's bring the camera there. That's a good lock. We've got a good position on it. We are now in range. Just gonna refine my lock. There we go. Bombs away. And now we can go on Cat 1. Let's see how that works. I could have centered it a little bit better, I guess, but we'll see if it gets the target to blow up. And it did the trick. We can see that it's broken and it's shooting flares and stuff, so that means we got it. Alright. Well, we're out of ordnance. So now what we can do for fun is check what do we have. We have some BTR-82s and BTR-80s. BTR-80s I can risk myself for a gun pass. The BTR-82 I don't think I will do that, so I'll try to spot this guy and maybe head for him. So we've got the road there. That's our targets. So ideally what I could do is try to use this guy here with maybe white hot. Follow the road, and you see those are civilian vehicles. Those are targets that we had destroyed before. Let me check my map again. Where is he? Okay, he's much further south. I'm not pointing the camera also in the right direction, which is bad, so I should actually check from the right. That's where the targeting pod is. Now I've got the camera pointed there, but it should be around here, I think. Alright, so we're looking to the right. Now the targeting pod's going to be happy. Is there a BTR around these parts near the road? Let's lock that point and see where that is. Does that look like it might be close? Yeah, there's like a U-shaped forest. So it's probably around here. So let's keep checking the area there. And that U-shaped area. Is there a BTR somewhere that I can spot? Ah, okay. I figured I could probably zoom out a bit more. Right now I just see the civilian vehicles. Where's that BTR? It's on that side. Okay. So let's zoom out a bit. It should be around here. Ah, is that him? Let's zoom in. No, that's a rock. Is that another rock? Is that a vehicle? That thing there? That's got a lock. Okay, that makes sense. It's in the U, more or less where we thought it would be. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to dive towards it. Get an idea for where it is. And now we're just gonna switch to guns. And we're gonna try to hit that point. Yeah, I see him now.
Altitude.
Oh, I see tracers coming from my right. Alright, there he is.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Altitude. Altitude.
How did we do? We got him. Alright. That was fun. Alright, so we're done with the air to ground. Let's head for the next waypoint there. And we can decide as we fly back home if we want to go for maybe a refueling. It's not really that I need it, but it's fun practice. Oh, still somebody shooting at me there. I see tracers. That could be the BTR 82. It's got a bigger cannon, so it probably reaches a little further. Still didn't hit me, but it's never kind of reassuring when you see orange tracers flying by your cockpit. So on my HSI here, you can see at Angel 17, that's the tanker that I can use. And so I could climb up to his altitude and see if I can go have a little sip. Before I switch frequency, I'm just going to ask the AWACS if there's anything of interest.
1, Dodge 1, request bogey dope. Dodge 1,
Okay, so we're clean. This is the SA-1 area with the enemy base, and I don't see any fighters in that area, so that means we're okay for air-to-air. So I'm trying to follow my waypoint, which is also like an intercept course for the tanker. And since it's at Angel 17, I'm going to climb right up there with the clouds. So we do have a lot of gas. Let's accelerate a little bit. Set the autopilot. And we'll catch it much faster at 500 something knots, right? He's still at about 20 miles. One of the things we can do in the F-16 is set this as our soy, and then you bring your little crosshair on top of that, and then you lock that, and then you can see that there's a nice little octagon, and we can get a visual on our tanker. Makes it a little bit easier like that. And so we're gonna switch Comron to 26500. There we go. We're gonna call the tanker.
Texaco 5-1, Dodge 1, request rejoin. Dodge 1, Texaco 5-1, proceed to pre-contact at 17,000 at 300. Report rejoin.
Oops. I wanted to show that I have my little door open there. So now we're gonna have to call him again.
Texaco 5-1, Dodge 1, request rejoin. Dodge 1, Texaco 5-1, proceed to pre-contact at 17,000 at 300.
So to be polite when we go to the tanker, it's a good idea to put the master arm on off. And another nice polite thing to do is to turn lights on. At this point we're going to turn autopilot off, and we're going to go for him. Let's try to do a bit more of an intercept course. There we go, we're closing the distance fast. Always goes a little faster when you're in lead pursuit, but then when you get like really close, you want to go more in pure pursuit. We can see the F-16 that's escorting him. We are way fast. We're gonna get the brakes. You can see that we're passing the other F-16, the escort plane. Oh, and our refueler is turning. We're gonna make it a nice challenging run for us. I just unlocked the thing so that I wouldn't see that spiraling thing. Alright.
Ready, pre-contact. Cleared contact.
Okay, so we're cleared in, so we're gonna move close. Always find it a little bit unnatural with the F-16 since my connecting point is behind me. Maybe I could zoom out just a little bit. Oof, okay. Almost had the right height there. So now I need to get closer to the tanker, try to maintain speed. A little further forward, come on.
Contact.
Okay,
You're taking fuel.
keep it there. Oh, and now he's turning again. Okay, we'll have to reconnect. If you're curious, is that something difficult to do? Look at the controls on the lower left.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Now we're disconnected. I think we've got plenty of fuel though. If I reconnect, he's probably just gonna tell me transfer complete.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? A Turkish plane refueling a Greek plane. Isn't world peace wonderful? Alright, I got plenty of fuel, thank you. I'm gonna tell him that we are aborting.
Rejoin. Return free contact.
There's a glitch in the matrix. He wants me to return, but we're done. And like I normally like to do, I'm just gonna tell him, thank you for the fuel. We're out of here. Actually gonna move away like that. So now we're just gonna continue to our waypoint. "19 miles in that direction." Gonna burn some of that fuel that we just got. We went from about 5,000 to 8,800. Let's burn, baby, burn. Can't say I've flown the area much, but just tonight I got used that where I set my final waypoint. It's close to those hills, and those hills, it's like they lead you to the airfield that's right there, as you can see. So we're just below the speed of sound in order not to disturb the local population with sonic booms. And now we're gonna go idle, air brakes out. Gonna switch waypoint and head to base. Gonna pull some G's to slow down the airplane. Gonna do my CZ here because it wasn't quite on the runway. That's a little bit better. The cursor 0 brings things where they're supposed to be a little bit better, more precise. Okay, so now I guess I can get my gear down. Nice little animation. Took a screenshot of me approaching the runway. Let's put our feet on the pedals. And we have touchdown. Let's use a little bit of aerodynamic braking and bring it down. Use some wheel brakes. Get the air brakes in. Just gonna turn around and go to the nearest taxiway behind me. make a nice precise parking. I like to go to that view so that I can bring the wheel right where the yellow line turns. There we go, super precision. And at this point we can ask the ground crew to put in the wheel chocks.
Chief, place the wheel chocks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
And the usual lazy shutdown. So let's go check on our map very quickly. Yeah, the road here looks clear. And the ammo depot here. Let's go check this guy and see. Oh, I got the wrong one. Okay, let's try that again. Select this guy. And go to that. Oh, I guess I'll have to cycle a bunch of things then. So you're looking at all the defenses at the enemy base. Oh, it's interesting. My wingman had fired a missile at the SA-11, so I guess he got the search radar there. That's our SA-6 site that had been destroyed. There's only one launcher left and he's got just the one missile on it. Those guys. Okay, this is the site that I wanted to look at, the EWR. So that's still active. And then this guy, is that the guy? Yes, that's the guy that's close to our target that we hit with the 2 bombs. And as you can see, it's still exploding, going poof, poof. Kaboom. So there's that ammo dump, there's that one there too. What I was thinking is there's an EWR site that we saw when we cycled through the ground targets. If I go to this here, it's right here, the EWR site. It's a few vehicles and a few other things. So I almost feel like going for it. So let's see. If I go here and I say delete those waypoints, is that gonna delete it? Maybe not, because I'm still in the plane. Okay, now it's gone. Nope. Can I move forward, backward? Can I say delete? Delete, delete, delete. No. What if I say add? Okay, I'm gonna put a, let's say an IP waypoint here. Nah, it's just adding a new one there. But then maybe I can go through all the others. Yeah, delete those. Okay, so I have the one waypoint there, which I want at, let's say, 16,000. We'll say IP. Then we can have nice waypoints here at 0 feet, which we will call TGT. And then if we move back here, we said that those hills there are helping us for lining up for final. So I'll put a waypoint there at, let's say, 6,000 feet. We'll call it final. And then we'll put one like right at the end of the runway here. Number 4 that we will call land at 0 feet. So if we look now, we have a flight plan, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got this little box checked over here. So now I can hit escape. have to go back to the cockpit to do that? Okay, I got it. Select roll. It just took its time. So Kitila, we already had like an F-16. I could change planes. I could go with an F-18, for example. But since we had started with the F-16s, I guess we'll go with that. And for the livery, let's go with the Italian Air Force. And again, I could put some air-to-air. We didn't encounter a lot of air-to-air, so I'll just put 9 mics. And here I will put, I guess GBU 38s will probably do the trick, right? So we'll put 2 of them on each side. And there we can put the fuse like that. Fuse like that. And I'll give us a center fuel tank, and here we'll just carry some GBU 12s, which I think I will leave in 1688. That's fine. So we've got our loadout. We should take a targeting pod, because if we don't, we'll be in trouble. And so yes, we've got 6 bombs. That looks good to me. So make sure spawn hot. And now we're back into an F-16. As you can see, it's an Italian F-16. It's got the targeting pod, the different bombs. And if we look on the map, we can see that we have a flight plan. That's nice and good. So we're going to go target that early warning radar sites. So we'll put power to our targeting pod. We'll put power to our GBU 38s. These we will set for CCRP. We'll go back to the GBU 38s because we'll probably use those first. And then I'll turn laser on, master arm on. These good fellas there. Bypass for this. Steady on the lights. And I think we're good to go after we put nose wheel steering. And so, yeah, before I do that though, parent menu, exit. I want to check my frequency again. 11895. 11895 there. And this one, COM1, we'll put on 264, which is the AWACS frequency. So let's talk to the tower first.
Springfield 1, request taxi to runway. Springfield 1, clear to taxi to runway 22.
Okay, so we're cleared for 22. Thing looks good here. That's taxi. We can see lots of civilian vehicles in this area, and It's kind of cool, but I probably should have turned it off because we noticed, my wingman and I, that when we had the targeting pod on the moving vehicles on the road, the targeting pod will switch to some of those civilian vehicles. And we don't want to hit the civilians, we want to hit the military vehicles, so I should have just turned it all off altogether in the main menu options. If you're just doing a sightseeing flight, it's nice to have trucks and cars and buses on the roads, but when you're doing a military mission, probably the civilians would have just fled the area and not travel on those roads. Ah, I'm cleared now. Good. I didn't really ask permission before I got on the runway, but it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like earlier, like my wingman and I, we asked permission to get on the runway and it didn't respond. Second time around, it gave us permission to both aircraft, no problem. Third time, didn't get any response. And so, it's like I gave up on the ATC to a certain extent. Alright, so we are heading for the target area with our Italian jet. So we do have power to the targeting pod. Ah, my rudder is not centered. That's why it wanted to go on one side. .39 miles from our IP. And since we're flying alone, I guess we could turn the lights off. Be a little bit more stealthy. Not use all my fuel necessarily. I'm gonna lower the throttle a little bit. Let's look at our list and this. Wrong options. Let's return lists 0 5 1688. That's what we want. I didn't change the code on the bomb this time, so it's 1688. This is on, this is on. This looks good. Lights are off. We've got power to the targeting pod. We've got power to our bombs. Let's look at the targeting pod. Looks like it's functional. Go back to nav mode. Now normally at this point, to remove some of the boredom, I would probably just accelerate time, but since this is the mission I ran with my wingman, we were running it on the server in multiplayer, so this mission is still in multiplayer, cannot be fast forwarded. So here's what I'm gonna do, just so that you can enjoy the ride a little bit more. I'm gonna use like nice little viewpoints like that. Show off the Kola map just a little bit. Apart from those two hills in the back that we used earlier to line up with the runway, there's not a lot of geography on the Kola map, right? It's very flat terrain. Up low, you can actually see little valleys here and there. Earlier when I tried to avoid missiles from the SA-11, I was about here and I dove straight into this little canyon there with the river. And that was a fun little flight in there, avoiding the missiles that were coming at me. So there is some terrain, but a lot of it is quite flat for almost as far as the eye can see. Have lakes here and there. So see, with all that, we got to 4 miles of our IP, so I guess we can switch to the target area, which is right in front of us at 24 miles. And now we'll switch to air to ground and try to see if we can spot that rotating radar that sends those fighters after us. Let's make this soy. Yeah, I think we can actually see some vehicles there. Yeah, this thing there. This is the main target. We can see the thing turning, but it's turning like at 3 frames per second. Let's see if we spot the target. Okay, we're gonna go through the whole thing. We're gonna have a lot to go through there. There are lots of things on the map. Okay, now we're gonna get closer to where we want to be. Okay. So here in the 3D view, it's turning like at a regular speed, but on my targeting pod, it looks like it's turning cluck, 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 cluck. Ooh, the SA-11 is now lighting me up. So I'm gonna get ready to drop my bombs since I'm in range. We'll try not to... Okay, so that's good. Let's lock this. Bombs away. Lock this. Bombs away. I think I saw a little building. There's the building. Lock this. Bombs away. And maybe the other truck. I don't know. Is there anything else? Yeah, there's just that other truck there. The fuel truck. Ooh, okay, it's acting funky. That, and we're still in range. Bombs away. And so 4 bombs in the air. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to try to beam the SA-11. Let's put it on our right wing there. There we go. And let's see what we can see with the bombs. Looks like they're heading in the right direction. There are some bombs that have already hit. Kaboom, kaboom. Kaboom. So yeah, I think we got everything. zoom out a little bit. Yeah, this site is destroyed. Let's confirm with the F10 map. Nothing there. Alright. I do have some laser guided bombs. So let's see here. We've got this, we've got that. Yeah, I think it's going to be too dangerous to try to go to that area. I'm going to try to see in visual if I can spot the road that we had earlier with targets. I'm almost there. So let's go like this. Yeah, I see the fire down there. Okay. So we see the target here and there's a vehicle there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on my helmet display there. I'm gonna try something with the mark point. Mark. So now it's in the HUD. If I go like that, is that the button to... I want to go back and find the target I want. Okay. I'm gonna do it from the other side because targeting pod is on the right side. And I would like to slave the targeting pod on the mark point after I've done it, but I haven't done this in a while, so we'll see if we're actually able to do that. So let's put the autopilot on. Now, am I going to get a little circle if I do that? No, that didn't work. Does it have to be like this HUD or no? Yeah, I forget which button activates this in my helmet display. I thought it was the lock key, but it's not. And so I'd have to lock it with ooh, and now it's, yeah, let's put a point there. Okay, let's return. If it puts it in the HUD, I'll just do it with the HUD, I guess. Yeah, it's not collaborating with me here. I wanted to lock that point, but won't be able to do it. I'm gonna move away because, yeah, this guy's shooting at me like crazy. So we're trying things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here it's really that I don't remember the procedure. You see, the mark point now is set for targeting pod. The targeting pod is pointing way far, so can I bring it here? I guess I could. It's not ideal, but it's sort of working. I want to bring it near there. So bring it in that direction. I know it's mask. Very difficult to do movements like that as you're moving with the dot on the ground that you're trying to move. Okay, so it's getting there. It's moving where I want it. There we go. That's my vehicle. Okay, so I've got a lock on him. I'll be able to come back. Again, he's probably shooting at me at this point. He's probably thinking, what are those Italians doing? And so the Italian is going to switch to his GBU-12s and he's going to drop one on your head. That's what's going to happen. So I have Laser Master. We checked earlier that we were on 1688. We are now 6-7 miles away. I like to give myself enough space to turn around. 8 miles is pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to go back, set this as soy, zoom in on it, lock this, and now I can put this on the bomb line. Pickle. And we've got our bomb that dropped. We can turn as we lasing the target. This BTR is going to get a nasty surprise. Boom. So there's another BTR there. It's going to be harder to spot, but we could still try. We have a one bomb left and still plenty of fuel. Alright, so this is there. The other vehicle is in that area somewhere around there, I think. So let's see if we can move this to where we think it is. And then see, there's something there. Oh, that's a ZSU-57. Oh, that's a nice juicy target. Yeah. Let's go hit the ZSU. I think we're a bit too close though. I'm gonna have to move away and then come back towards him. ZSU-57, that's a good target. I'll take it. Maybe that's the guy who was shooting those big tracers at us.
Magic 1, passing waypoint 2, 28,000.
Okay, bombs away. We're lasing. At the same time, I'm gonna set this to Cat 1. Kaboom! No more. So at this point we're out of bombs, so I think it's gonna be the safe choice to decide to just go home, right? Let's go with this and 3. There we go. So some of the fun things to do when we're just flying around. Practice jettisoning our fuel tank. Bloop! Bye bye. What surprises me is that this escort plane is still escorting the refueler. I think he had to go shoot a missile and drop his fuel tanks at one point, but maybe what he does to continue his escort is he goes to refuel once he runs out of fuel. I don't know. It's like I haven't looked at him like the whole time he was flying, but this mission has been running for maybe 3 hours, if not 4. Let's see on. Yeah, it's 2:16 in the afternoon, and I think it started around 11. So it's a good 3 hours into the mission, and he's still flying with the tanker. When I built this mission, one of the reasons why I chose the area here is that you've got like the distance between the two airfields about 80 nautical miles, which makes it more interesting because like when the map first came out, we had this runway here and then the Russian runways were here. To get to a target, you had to go like 100 miles, and then if you if you took off at Bodo, you had to do like 450 miles, so you needed like 2 refuelings for sure in a mission like that. So the area here where we're operating, we can do some refueling if we want, but we don't necessarily have to, which is nice. I just realized I hadn't done my cursor 0, and with all my moving the targeting pod around, I had switched the position of all my waypoints. So now we're heading for final with our 2 hills there like we had earlier that indicate where the runway is. See it better now. And so we're gonna slow down a bit. And we'll bring it in for another smooth landing. So tonight's been a pretty good F-16 practice for me. I've done a little bit of air-to-air. I've done Mavericks. I've done harms with the HTS pod. I've done a lot of laser-guided stuff with the targeting pod. We just did some GBU-38s. Worked with the ground moving target radar to spot moving targets on the ground and then laze them with some laser guided bombs.
Altitude. Altitude.
Go check how the stream is going. It looks pretty good. I'm going to just quickly check again, just for the... Oh. Not getting a smooth video stream, I guess. Hopefully you still get an image.
Altitude. Altitude.
It's the first time I get that warning.
Magic 1-1, passing waypoint 3 at 28,000.
I'm just gonna have to go around because I'm a bit too fast on the landing there. Let's get the gears down.
Warning, 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 warning.
That was a bit of a hot dog thing. I think the reason the stream might be having difficulty is because it is a multiplayer server, so my computer has to upload everything to the net, maybe? I don't know. Let's land and determine if we're still broadcasting. It was going to be my last flight of the evening anyways, because it's getting a bit late. Okay, so brakes are in, nose wheel steering on. Let's just get off the runway and have a look at the stream. How it's going. So this is going okay. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Okay. Sorry about that if you are experiencing buffering. I'm gonna go experience parking. Got our little friends there waiting for us at the base. This guy waiting to put some fuel. There we go, that looks good. Ground crew, wheel chocks.
Chief, place the wheel chocks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
And we'll end it with a lazy shutdown. Just want to show the canopy going up. go. Looks pretty good. That was a fun flight. So what I wanted to show with this particular stream was really that when you have a mission that has enough targets in it, even after the planned flights that you created for it are done, if you've included dynamic spawns in multiplayer, you can add more planes, more waypoints, do more jobs. I had originally planned a seed flight and a close air support flight, and what we did afterwards is we added the extra close air support flight that struck the vehicles on the road, and then that same flight took out this ammo depot. Then we created another strike flight to go hit the early warning radar site, which also had some extra bombs, so we went to hit more targets in that area. And as you can see, there's still an ammo depot left. If I wanted, I could reload another plane for seed and try to take out the SA-11. Then I could decide to go attack the Red 4 base. And so there's lots you can do, like when you have those dynamic spawns. So I spend a lot of time like building missions sometimes, but those missions like that, it's like if you've built in a few targets, extra targets that are not necessarily planned in the original mission, you can still go attack stuff afterwards. So that was it. So hopefully you enjoyed the flight, and I'm gonna go check the replay on the stream. Hopefully the buffering wasn't too bad for the viewers. So that's gonna be it for me for now. So cool hand out.